The Prince and the Pauper would be Mickey's first new animated featurette in almost a decade. It was directed by George Scribner, who had just delivered Oliver and Company, and originally, he wanted nothing to do with this project. But then, he fell in love. Director George Scribner.
There was a development group led by a guy named Charlie Fink, and they obviously had a lot of ideas and projects in development. One of them was a featurette, and I guess Jeffrey, or I'm not sure exactly where the idea came from, why don't we do a double bill with Rescuers Down Under, sort of double your fun, double your money, please. And I was asked, look, we don't have a movie for you right now. Do us a favor. I really at the time wasn't real happy about it. I didn't want to do it. But just put it up on an animatic. Peter Schneider said, just get it through story. Get it up on reels. That's all you have to do. And then we'll talk about what else you can do. And I said, all right, fine. And Jeffrey gave me the script, and I really loved it. What I loved about this, and the reason I ended up doing it, was could we pull off, there was a scene when, you probably remember this, the king passes away, and Mickey, who's now in the castle, is by the bedside, and I go, wow, can we pull this off with a shorts character? And to me, the challenge was, let's see if we can do this. Can we get that kind of depth out of a mouse? And I think we did, and it was just so much fun to do.
Your Highness, your father is in his last hours and wishes to see you at once.
Oh, we better tell the prince. He'd want to see him.
You are the prince, sire.
Oh, well, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Sire, he is gravely ill.
I'll explain everything. The king will understand.
My son.
Huh? Well, I'm not really the...
Come closer. My son.
But...
From the day you were born, I have tried to prepare you for this moment. I shall be gone soon, and you will be king. You must promise. Promise me that you will rule the land from your heart, justly and wisely.
I promise.
It wasn't hard to board. It was the timing of the camera that you had to leave. We redid that shot so many times, not so many times, 2 or 3 times to get it. At the time, it was all analog cameras, and reshooting was really a pain. Moving away from him and just letting the candle go out rather than, as a metaphor, obviously the symbolism of it and stuff. But it was tricky to board. And now that I think back on it, do we backlight him? It's just the silhouette of Mickey. How close are we? It involves some delicacy on how to board it in such a way where, wow, it's Mickey Mouse. Can you put him in a scene of this kind of, with this kind of, quote unquote weight, relatively speaking? And I think we did.
The look of the picture went back to Freddie Moore's drawings of Mickey, who was famous for redesigning the character for Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, Brave Little Tailor. It's a very good question. We had to decide on the look of the model. As you know, there's so many different models of Mickey. And we ended up choosing Freddie Moore's model from, 38, 1939. Plumper, shorter, a little cuter. And for the look, we landed on Brave Little Tailor. Not only for the look, but for the model as well. That was sort of let's go there. That's a great look. Watercolor washes, simple character, a cuter character. And that's what we ended up with. That's what we pointed to. Tried that as a concept. Mickey would be Mickey, but the other mouse would speak in an English accent. And we didn't have a hard time finding someone, but it was more of a story. We just had a lot of disagreements about it. Is it the right way to go or not? And Jeffrey finally made the call saying, look, it's Mickey Mouse. The entire appeal of this is it's the same character. You can't divide and have 2 different voices for this same character. And he was right. He was absolutely right. But originally, prior to even just landing on 2 Mickeys, we went with a full bore, an entirely different voice, entirely like a young English boy. And we tried that for 3 or 4 months. It's been an ongoing challenge for the studio to keep this I hate using this word, but franchise these kind of characters, our Fab Five, relevant and alive. It's sort of the challenge of the Muppets as well. How do you, for every new generation, how do you reintroduce these characters?
It's Walt Disney Pictures' all-new The Rescuers Down Under. And also from Walt Disney Pictures, it's Mickey Mouse. Back on the big screen again for the first time in almost 10 years. Back with all his friends in an all-new animated classic, The Prince and the Pauper. The Rescuers Down Under and The Prince and the Pauper, together in movie theaters.
It was extraordinary. I was just so lucky. And I felt better about myself. I had more confidence. I'd gotten through Oliver and Company, and I sort of felt like, wow, I found my voice as a director. I wish I'd started. I wish I'd done that film before I did Oliver and Company. Would have learned a lot more. Would have been a way to ramp into doing a full feature. This was just a nice break and a nice 22 minutes of, wow, let's have some fun and make this a really kind of interesting and something with a little surprise in it. Can you pull off these kinds of scenes with Short's characters? So it was great fun. Really loved the project. No one took it serious. It was like, yeah, it's a little featurette, and we'll just see what ends up happening. It turned into, in my opinion, it's a little gem, but it's, of course, I'm a little slightly jaded. We shot that at Paramount in one of the stages, and it was a tough day to get through. Rigging the page turns, traditionally they were wired, and we ended up having to shorten it, and we ended up having to just do a dissolve because we never got the page to turn right. It was really a motion control shot, and we just did 10 million takes on it. You'd think just a simple little scene, the where to start, what's the midpoint, where does the camera need to be, the midpoint, is it facing the carpet, is it, I think Leon Jewson boarded that. No, Don Yippies boarded it, and we just basically followed his boards. They were beautiful.